Okay, good evening. Happy fucking 2019. I guess that's not family friendly, swearing like that. Let me know, do you like the swearing? Or should I cut it out? Pretty sure I'm not gonna make any money off this YouTube channel. So that's not really a consideration. But does it add anything? Is it worth? Because honestly, I want this channel. I feel like it's something that a lot of young people should be tuning into. I think there's yeah, I got my partner with me tonight. I got my dog, and he's riding shotgun with me here tonight. So if you hear any strange noises or anything, that's could be what it is. If somebody farts, it's definitely him. You may also notice I'm driving a little bit different than normally. I drive pretty gingerly when I've got my boy with me. But yeah, I want to... a lot of this is adult content in a sense. But it's also stuff that when I was a teenager or whatever, if I had known some of it, could have made a pretty big difference in a lot of things, right? So I would like to keep it. I'm trying to feed him a snack, the little bugger. He's a finicky eater. His brother was not a finicky eater. He would eat absolutely fucking everything. And in the last 2 weeks, I've thrown out more dog food than I have in the last 5 years because I make supper for this guy, and he's fussy. And whereas before, I had a system where this guy wouldn't eat it, it would end up being the other guy's supper. Geez, lady, did you try and run me off the road for a reason? So there's been some adjustment, a lot of adjustment. Throwing out dog food is kind of a insignificant one. In the grand scheme of things, that means. You may also notice that my exhaust is getting louder, and my shocks are toast. Wow, would I ever just notice that? Yeah, this car's falling apart. Don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. In another attempt on Suboxone. Whether or not that makes me an active addict is a matter of debate or opinion. I don't really care about those semantics right now. But is it fair to say that I am addicted to opiates? Well, I certainly have a physical dependence upon them at this point. Any other drugs, including cocaine, which is my go-to, that's the one I want. I would trade all my opiates for cocaine. Yet, opiates are what I would probably be said to be addicted to. Cocaine, yeah, I'll sometimes go on a binge for a week, and I'll use it until I can't get it anymore. And then it sucks for 2 or 3 days, but then I feel okay and I move on, and I can go months without cocaine. And I assume there's probably people who have that type of relationship with opiates, although I get the sense that with opiates, even if you can manage the addiction part of it, eventually the dependence is what screws you. I used opiates habitually, periodically, randomly for I think 3 years before I fell into the spot where most people would say I was addicted. I would say I was addicted. That's not me trying to dodge or rationalize away that I'm not an addict. But you can be addicted to something and not have a dependence on it, a physical dependence. And I'm reticent to give an example of that because I want to say gambling, and I'm going to use that example with the caveat that I may stand corrected on some of what I'm going to say. So if I step in it, somebody bring me back in the comments. I'm using gambling. It maybe is not the best example, but you can very much be a gambling addict. And I guess where it's a little tricky is there are definitely physical brain responses, physiological responses. There's a very real component of that to a gambling addiction. You do have, I assume, some kind of there's a psychological response, but there's probably a physical component of, I guess, withdrawing from gambling. But the reason I'm using that as an example is there's not a medical, physical withdrawal that I'm aware of that's associated with an addiction to an activity. Again, if I'm off base there, let me know. I'm not trying to talk out of the side of my mouth, but hopefully you get my point where I'm going with that. So you can be addicted without having a physical dependence. Can you have a physical dependence without being addicted? And I guess that's what I want to know. I have a very does the addiction begin and end, and where's the physical? Because I've tried a number of times to stop using opiates, and it's not really like, it wasn't like cocaine. Cocaine, yeah, there is a physical response. I just never used cocaine long enough, consistently enough to make that hard to break. With opiates, you don't have to be on them for very long before your body becomes physically dependent on them. No, you won't die without them. Yes, you will feel like you're going to die. And I did read something, who was it? I think it was in one of Gabor Mate's books. He made a reference to opiate withdrawal being lethal. Not directly lethal necessarily, but anyway, I won't get into explaining his explanation because he does it much better. Check him out. He's got some really interesting ideas, and it's worth having a listen to. Maybe I'll talk about his theories in another chat. But so yeah, but it's a definite physical. You get very sick, and it can go on. Usually, a typical acute withdrawal can be anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. Varies pretty widely with the drug and the person and all kinds of variables. And then there's the post-acute withdrawal symptom, which can last for years. Arguably, some people may never recover from it. There may be, some people suggest there's permanent damage. I tend to believe that with the recovery period for a lot of people will extend well beyond a year. Well beyond a year. And I don't think that necessarily even has to be a very heavy user. So is this person addicted? The only way I can prove that I'm not addicted is to stop taking the drug for drugs, and even up until I ran into the physical dependence. You know, I was using opiates, and there's probably that phase, that period where it is fair to say I was addicted. It wasn't quite the fully physically dependent stage, but couldn't quite stop taking. And I feel like that's the stage, that's addiction. But beyond that, that's where, if I was using cocaine, I would run myself out, and it would be a rough couple of days, but that would be the end of it. And with the opiates, it started happening where I'd run out, and I'd find myself, oh my god, I'm very sick, like incapacitated. I can't go to work. I can't, I can't socialize. I can't not shit my pants. I can't eat. I can't look after myself. And I know that that's what I'm staring down with the Suboxone. If I stop using that, I'm going to be incapacitated for probably 2 weeks, give or take. And then after that, I've got this long, drawn out post-acute withdrawal syndrome, syndrome. It's a hybrid word. It's new. Be the first on your block to use it. Symptom. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm addicted. I feel like I'm physically dependent, and I feel like I have a lot of feels. I really got the feels. I feel like interchanging addiction and physical dependence. Like, I don't know, is addiction the psychological dependence, maybe? But I think you're really, you're undermining people when you simplify it down to, oh, that person's an addict. That person's physically dependent. And, you see that with legitimate pain patients. My ex-wife had chronic pain, and she was on opiates for years, and she was physically dependent. Interestingly, her and a lot of other people I've talked to, people who have a lot of chronic pain, they don't get much enjoyment out of opiates. They don't get the high that a lot of people get. I don't think I ever got the high a lot of people got. I think what I got was relief from a lot of physical and psychological symptoms. And maybe it's holier than thou, my shit doesn't stink, but I really feel like my opiate use was as much self-medicating as it was any kind of recreational abuse. There was, a good portion of my opiate use was not at all recreational. It was therapeutic, and it obviously wasn't a wise choice, but like I mentioned in my earlier videos, I had problems pre-existing that did not respond to treatment by other means, or just simply wasn't treated before. different is that than my wife, who, when she left, she moved to a different part of the country where she wasn't able to find a doctor to prescribe her opiates. So she went through a miserable time. She was sick, withdrawing, and she's my ex, but it broke my heart that she had to go through that for no wrongdoing of her own. It actually made me really angry that doctors would do that, but that's happening to a lot of people. So, because I self-medicated versus other, being medicated under the care of a doctor, in the end, we both have this physical dependence, which nobody talks about. People say, "Oh no, you're an addict. You're not physically dependent." Well, I think that that's a discussion that we need to get into a little further. So, what do you think? Comment, post your own video, and link it back. Joe Blow responds to me. Do it.